Good morning. I'm here this morning with Louis and Ryan from Studio 2. So just going to chat to them. They're based up in the Leeds area, the north of London, the UK. So how are you guys? How are you guys doing? Tell me a little bit about yourselves, Louis. Then Ryan, explain how you guys have worked together and what brought you together.
Sure. Lewis, do you want me to take as well as
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah. So me and Lewis met on the same design course at Sheffield Hallam. And then during COVID years, we started our own business. Because we were both looking for experience in the industry, but with COVID coming around, that just wasn't happening with replacement. So we started our own business to find that experience for ourselves. And then when we went back to university, we were finding lots of problems with a lot of the students didn't know how to price work, they didn't know how to network, they didn't know how to market their work to get clients in. And they were asking us these questions a lot of the time, which sort of brought up the problem of why is this a thing? We've got thousands of students who really should know this kind of stuff, but they don't. So then we started Studio 2 after we finished our university studies. And so now we went from a team of 3 with our original business, Perfect Pixel, to a team of 8. And that's freelance designers, different expertise. We have web design, branding, social media, photography, illustration, all this different kind of stuff. And so the advantage for the clients is when they come in, they get access to all these different bits of expertise. So they're not having to waste time finding loads of different people. They can just find it all in one place. And go from personal Studio 2.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's
So, what would you say your main USP is? What is your Ryan or Louis? You can answer that one. What is your main USP? What is your main selling point?
I'll let you take that one.
Well, yeah, like Ryan says, we act basically as a normal design studio, but at the same time, since we had all these issues, but inquiries about how do you price work and things like that, when we came back into our final year at uni, we thought this, like Ryan says, was a bit weird that there's not like a solid way or some sort of answer to what you should be doing and whatnot. So we've set up this sort of design course that takes students through how you find work, through going through networking, how you then go on to, once you find some work, pitch for it and explain your reasons behind it. Your whole process of going through iterations and briefing, including contracts and things like that you've got to include, so you've not been messed about and things like that. How to pitch once you've done it. So there's this idea of doing it in 3 stages where you build up to a point and then hit them with the price and then try and soften it out a little bit more. So there's all these different things that students, especially in the design industry, are not really taught to do. It's sort of like they're taught just how to get into a normal job rather than a lot of designers.
For you guys, if somebody wanted to come to you and as a selling point, your main selling point would be more of a reaching out to younger people who are trying to get a foothold in the industry and want to try and learn from you guys, from people in the industry on how they can progress. Am I understanding that correctly?
Not for our client side of things, I would say. On the client side of things, the USP is that you have all this access to different skills at a very quick notice, and everyone's got their own expertise. So, say when you come in for a web design job, you're getting the expertise of copywriter to make sure the copy's good. You're getting my expertise for the web design, expertise for the branding, and because there's all those different people there, no one's doing something that they're uncomfortable with, and everyone's doing something that they're really confident in and good with. That's the USP for the client side of things. But we do that's only one arm of the business, whereas the other arm is the helping students.
Okay.
When universities and colleges come to us, then that's the USP. That's what we're looking to do and provide that knowledge to students. universities and colleges may not have the time or resources to teach the students that stuff.
Okay, brilliant. So, I mean, when you were launching your business and all that kind of stuff, what strategies did you use, and what do you think worked for you, and what do you think probably hindered your development? I'll put this to Louis. What is your...
Wait, so sorry. Repeat the question. Sorry. Distracted with some noise in here. It's very loud in here.
Say that again. Sorry.
Sorry, it's quite loud in here. Can you just repeat what you said? Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So I said, when you were setting up the business, what type of marketing strategies, or not even marketing strategy, business strategies, did you use to launch the business, to research the market, that type of stuff? If you can give us a bit of insight into that.
Yeah, so we found out that quite a lot of business, especially up north, is not really centered up north anymore. So it's everything is led to go down south. Everything that I remember, we were after when we started, I had to curiosity started looking at work and things like that, and everything is down south and things like that, and it's all not a vast amount, but a lot of it's internships for 6 months, then you move on to another one, and it's just not a really sustainable way of moving into that industry.
Yeah.
So we long term want to be able to offer these sort of internships and things to students, be a lot more open with them, especially even including our client side of things. Just be, this is how we work through things, this is how we do it. And like I said before, when it's giving students that knowledge that they can market their own work rather than just be working in some studio and just producing work. But yeah, I think I was reading something the other day saying I think 40% of all design industry is in London. 40% of the whole UK design industry.
Trying to bring stuff back up more into your area type of stuff, which is very, very, very good. I mean, so from a business goal and objective, that is part of your objective, is to try and bring more of the design work to your. But what is the main goal? I'll put this one to Ryan. What is your main goal of starting Studio 2, and pretty much. What is your goal? What is your objective?
In as short as I can get it, bridge the gap between education and industry. That's
brilliant. No, that's a very good summary. So can you share some of your marketing research? I mean, how have you been marketing your business at this point in time, and what kind of advice and tips could you give anybody who listens to this?
Would you like me to answer that one?
Go for it. I can add on.
Any one of you, yeah.
I'll add on after.
I mean, one of the things we found, so one of the big things we do on the education side of stuff is we have a design course for students, and it runs them through point A to B, start to end and finish of a full brand project, and it gives them all the skills that we've been talking about, how to price work, networking, etc. And it was really cool when we started that up, that it was really easy to market. Immediately, it was something that colleges and universities didn't have. And so what I recommend if you've got something like that, is to use an existing network that you already have, and obviously keep building that network. Networking has been such an amazing thing for us, and one of the examples of that was I had already done a couple talks for Barnsley College during our time at university. And so when it came to, we had this design course, I then reached out to Barnsley College and said, hey, we've got this thing, would you be interested? Within 3 months, 2 to 3 months, they were signed on for the design course. And it was a really easy way of just marketing that. And now what the future plan is, once we were working with Barnsley College students in October and February next year, in 2024. So what we're going to be doing there is getting the numbers from the students, surveys, be like, how effective do they think the course has been for them, and what's the effect going to be for them for the future? And then we can use those numbers and those surveys to then go to other colleges, other universities, and be like, look, it's working. This is the effect. And then market, it sells itself in that way. You're having to do much less selling, and it's the value speaks for itself in that way. So that would be my recommendation. Try and make something where the value speaks for itself. So if you're not someone who is into sales so much, because me and Lewis are graphic designers by trade.
Yeah.
Neither of us are salespeople. However, obviously we've got to do a bit of sales from time to time. But because we're creating products and services that sell themselves with their value, it makes our jobs a lot easier on that front.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. So it's giving back to the community, isn't it? It's so that people can see, okay, there's value in this, in doing this and working with Studio 2, because it's also giving back to the community in some way, which is brilliant. So both of you now obviously running the business. How do you organize your day, and how do you organize your roles? What role do you play, Louis, and what role do you play, Ryan, in the day-to-day functioning of the business?
Majority at the moment, a lot of like communication goes through Ryan, just so we're not completely like, oh, someone said this, now we need this. So a lot of it just runs through Ryan. A lot of it is just dishing out work between each and others. And yeah, a lot of it is networking at the moment. There's plenty of work on, but when we're not, we are either networking around Sheffield or using Meow Network, and together we've got 6 on this week between us. So it's just constantly trying to get to meet people and things like that. Anything else, Ryan?
Only other thing I'd say is the plan for in a year's time is for both me and Lewis to be working in Studio 2 full time. So as I mentioned before, Studio 2 is a team of freelancers. So while me and Lewis do kind of half and half with our work, we work in our own jobs, and then we have Studio 2. For the majority of the team, Studio 2 is more of a side thing for them. So the plan is for the future, me and Lewis to be working full time in Studio 2. I'll handle the arm of the business that is the education side, and handle the running of all the design courses, seminars, stuff like that. And Lewis will be running the client services side of stuff. So that'll be how things change in the future. Until then, like Lewis mentioned, a lot of client communication most of the time goes through me. Although freelancers in the team are very welcome to bring in their own clients, and then they handle the client communication.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So when you're doing your design, your daily work and all that kind of stuff, what type of software would you say makes the core part of your day and the core part of your job? So which software do you use to design, which to do the graphics? Louis or Ryan, I'm not sure if you use the same software between you, or
Yeah, we are very much the Adobe Suite. So it's literally through all our university and even college. For me, it was this is the industry standard. This is what every every design company uses, and it's the most versatile. Is Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, which is a little bit more for making quite nice presentations, things like that. But even then, there's video options in there, so it's really worth our time. We are very much of that ilk of like, please don't use Canva on the free basis, just of how the limitations are of it. But we understand that certain people at startup aren't going to have budgets that we work with us. We'll work around our budgets so we can offer some services for what they've got, just so they don't go away empty-handed. We want to help out as much as possible. But say if they want a full branding it'll be quite a high amount. If they can't afford that, we'll go, right, look, we'll do your logo for its time being, and then once you've got more funds, come back to us and we can carry on building off where we are. But we understand that Canva is okay, but besides Adobe, the Google Suite is really strong. We've got, me and Ryan have got a calendar that we use as a joint collective, so anything from like networking goes in there, certain meetings when people aren't in, so like when we've got shifts at other work that we know when people are and aren't in, like I said, Google Meet and things like that, even if we can't completely meet, but most of the time me and Ryan meet face to face. A lot of very different service, but Adobe is our main go-to.
Okay. What platforms do you guys focus on, Ryan? Or do you focus on WordPress, HTML, Webflow. What's your main platforms that you focus on?
I'll leave that to Ryan, our web designer.
When I started doing web design, WordPress was the go-to. As it is for many businesses, WordPress is just the default. And a lot of developers and designers would agree with that, I imagine. Unfortunately, I see WordPress kind of going downhill a little bit. You've got a lot of different web builders coming up now. A few years ago, they may have not been so popular because of the pricing that they give, but they are becoming a lot more popular now just because of how easy and user-friendly they are. Now, for me, Webflow is the king out of all of those. Because while it's really easy to use, and like I say, that really great user experience, it's meant for designers to use. So it's perfect for me. And our new website, which is currently under construction, hopefully by the time anyone's listening to this, it will be finished, depending on what time when you're listening to this. But yeah, the new website is currently under construction under Webflow, and it's been 10 times a much better experience than it was when we had the first website on WordPress. Yeah, it's so much easier to organize things and create lovely visuals on Webflow rather than WordPress.
Do you use Figma?
Yes. Yeah, we do. So with the process of the new website, we had a team of 4 of us working on the website design on Figma. Thankfully, if anyone's used Figma before, you'll probably know that people can work on the same document at the same time. So Figma was really great for us as a team to use and build the design up. Kind of add our own different things here and there, and then come together as a team to be like, okay, what's the final thing going to look like here? Let's like take that from Faye's design, this from my design, or this from Lewis's design, stuff like that. And then once we got all that together, it was really easy to take it from Figma to Webflow. It's just super easy to integrate.
Okay, that's absolutely brilliant. So how would you within your marketing strategies, what process would you use to retain your existing customers? Because I know reaching out, you've explained how you will be reaching out to new prospects, but how would what process would you put in place to retain your current customers and any future customers going forward?
I mean, there's a lot of small things you can do that just help retain those clients. I mean, for us, the majority of our clients are right now website and branding clients, right? So a lot of people would agree they're more one-off jobs, and then the job then is to have them keep you in mind after the fact. So just simple things like messaging, like every now and then catching up, being like, hi, how's business going? How's the integration of the brand going, or the web design going? Or a really simple thing we like to do is just send a birthday card or a Christmas card. And again, it's a really simple thing that just works so well, because obviously when it comes to a new bit of design that they need, and with Studio 2, like I say, one of the brilliant things is we can cover every digital need that a client has. So when that need comes up for a client, we hope that we've been kept in mind because we've done those like little steps. You're like, oh, Studio 2 sent us a Christmas card the other day, so we've got to go to them, right? We've got to go to them for our social media needs now. Did a great job on the branding. Let's go to them for social media. They're really great people. That's the idea, and it's such a small little thing.
Yeah, it all goes back on the idea of people buy from people. End of the day, you've got to be built, have that sort of personality with them, rather than the way we see it is like there's a lot of design sites like Fiverr and things like that where you can just get someone to do something for cheap, but there's no real like two-way. We like to have this conversation with clients, so like part of our process is like multiple meetings so people can keep up to date where we're at and things like that, rather than here's your design, good luck.
No, and it's exactly that. People will buy from people. I was explaining this to my missus the other day. If 2 people have got a product, and my products are slightly expensive than some other random person, if the people know, like, and trust me, they don't mind spending that extra 50 quid with me because they like, know, and trust me. Where the other person might be cheaper, but they don't know him from a bar of soap. So that's it. I like that idea. You know, the Christmas cards, the birthday cards, the how are you? And it's building those relationships, isn't it? It's not just, oh, we just want your money, but we want you more than, you know, we want that relationship, which is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So can you both of you or share a memorable moment, a customer feedback that's really warmed your heart and you think, wow, that's amazing. So give us an experience like that from somebody you've worked with.
I want to go with probably the most recent for me, which was when going into Barnsley College, I delivered that taster session, and that session was how to price work. And what was really cool at the end of the session was having a couple students come up to me and ask, hey, I'm not sure if university is the thing for me. I may want to just go freelance for like a year or two and then do university, or just go freelance just outright. And they were asking me for advice on that stuff, and they were saying how helpful it was for listening to like the presentation I just given and going through the little bit of work that I assigned them. And how we just got them thinking about different things that they just hadn't before. And it got kind of a little bit more excited to maybe do a bit more freelance. And especially at that young age, it was a really great thing to see. When I was in college, I didn't even think of going freelance. I was just studying and trying to get better at design. And it leads to this problem where you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to pricing and all these different skills that you need to be a freelancer. So teaching students at that age sets them up really well, regardless of what path they go down, whether it's full-time freelance or going to university. It just sets them up really well. So I was proud of that.
Yeah. Louis?
Yeah, it's similar sort of thing. We last week had a call with Barnsley College, and it wasn't even their design department; it's their business studies department. They've got a section of their curriculum where they have to put together like a visual display and things like that. And we were thinking, oh, it's a bit strange that like the business department's interested in what a design studio wants. It's like, oh, how much are we gonna have to adapt it? We're gonna have to take most of it out and have like cash flows and things like that in. And it's like, we can do it, but it's not something we can go into in depth. And they were just really excited to be like, oh yeah, but we've got this visual part to come up, and we're looking forward to it, having people from industry come in and talk to students. And it's brilliant, especially since I've studied a PGCE and things like that. So teaching is really something really goes forward for me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, especially seeing their enthusiasm for it as well. It's really nice.
All right. Dr. Ryan, what advice would you give a business looking to build a loyal customer base?
Oh, wow. So, quite simply, be kind. I will give that advice to anyone. If you want a loyal customer base, then it'll come, regardless of what you sell, and what you provide. If you're kind, if you're nice to people, I think that's always going to help you out, because people also refer other people to you, and they're not going to do that if you're just a bit of a bugger. If you're not pleasant to work with, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, people aren't going to refer you. Whereas if you're a nice person, if you make people feel good about their day, then no matter, like I said, no matter what you work in, what you sell, that's probably the best way I can give advice for building a customer base.
Awesome. Louis, what would your advice be?
The same, pretty much the same thing. You've got to be really helpful with things like that. And like I mentioned earlier, it's sort of like being able to provide any sort of help is really beneficial. People will really value that, even if it's like, no, we just can't turn you away, you can't afford us or whatnot. It's just really just providing like, oh, look, we can do this for you, we'll help you out, and then just stay with us as you grow and things like that. That again is another nice thing to see, is when we implement something and see that business carry on growing. You've got part of your journey now.
Well, I think it's what you guys are doing with doing the courses at the colleges. That's a very good a way of, like I said, giving something free back to the community, but it shows who you are, shows your heart of wanting to share, and that's a very, very good quality to have. Very rare amongst a lot of business people, to be fair, but it's a very good quality to have. So on that, how would you stay updated with industry trends and the way Google constantly changes their algorithms? And how do you guys? I'll put that to both of you. Probably more to Ryan because he's doing the doing the web design there. But also to Louis, what do you do to keep up to date?
Yeah, with anything regarding to our industry, it's a lot of keeping up with like design trends from year to year. Things will become popular and fall out of place, but again, keeping up with different technologies coming up. A lot of it is being said now about AI. That's being said, oh, you graphic designers are going to lose our jobs and everything. It's like, yes, they can do the actual physical designing bit, but all ideas and strategies behind it, and can't do anything like that. It's just any logo's got or brand has got to represent the business it is. It's that idea of your brand does what most of your talking when you're not there to see it. So it's got to represent you as a person and things like that. But again, as it's going forward, it's slightly been adapted into AI, but it's just getting people to understand that AI will work with designers and things like that. But yeah, it's a lot of just practice and things like that. With Adobe keeps updating things constantly, so yeah, it's just a lot of research, practice.
Yeah, Ryan.
I would definitely sound lots of research. I mean personally, I follow Creative Boom, and it's nice that so whenever they get a new article come out, I can read that. And while like a lot of the work on there is really cool, it does also help keep up to date on what the trends are in the design industry. I think also being in touch with colleges and universities in the future is going to help us a lot. And like Lewis mentioned before, looking in the future at having these internships where interns can come in and move between different disciplinaries freely. So it kind of gives that bit more of a freedom that university offers, but still the experience that having a placement offers. And one of the nice things about that will be we can just we can talk to those students, those interns, and be like, hey guys, what are you into at the moment? Because if we're 10 years down the line and me and Lewis might be getting a little bit out of touch, I hope we won't, but at least they'll keep us in line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's keeping your fingers on the pulse. Now, when you started Studio 2, obviously, when anybody starts a business, they've got a focus, a goal in mind. Once you started Studio 2, was there a time where you had to shift your goal a little bit, say, actually, we need to, instead of going that way, we're going to go that way? Has that happened, and can you share that with us?
I think, yeah, initially we had this quite ambitious, quick plan of sort of like, within 6 months, we'll have this studio space that we can have and use as a little bit like a designer artist co-working space where they can come in, pay a bit of a price and work. Because that's what we initially, when we finished our final year, we loved the space we were in so much. It's the head post office building in Sheffield. So it's like a design studio built in out of this really rustic old building. It's really nice inside. Quite a wide open plan sort of space, so it was quite nice to get up and walk around and just meet different people. And we initially had this idea, we'll get this space like this, whatnot, and then we started looking at I'll start with like a co-working space and in some sort of professional environment. And we were looking at like £200 per person per week or something like that, if I remember rightly. And it's like, that's just extortionate. And we remembered when we did our like enterprise placement that Hallam has its own co-working space, the one I'm currently in. And again, that's a good place to meet different businesses. So like even the startups, we've been talking with students that have just started their enterprise scheme like 2 years down the line, asking for advice on what do you think of this logo? What do you think I should do with this? And we've just been getting our feedback on what we did and like stepping stones that we've missed. But yeah, so we started working out here, and it was free, so it's like no brainer for time being when we start up. And now we've moved into an office space. We've got our own dedicated office space. So we're just about to move into. So it's it's slower than we initially planned, but we're slowly getting to where we want to be.
Yeah. No, good. So what, going forward, your words of advice for anybody who's thinking of starting up a business, what would your advice be? The type of advice you give to the students at college? What would you say? Both of you, either of you. I'm not.
Allow yourself a bit of patience. I know personally for myself, I don't, or I didn't, especially coming out of university, I really didn't. And things can change really quickly, and that can go both ways. And so it can either go really well for your business, or it can be going really slowly, and things just aren't working out. And it's just about giving yourself that bit of patience and time, and just keep striving through. Starting up, a basic bit of advice I can give is just do lots of networking. We still do lots of networking, and we'll continue to. But it just helps with building that network that you have and getting referrals in. That's probably one of the biggest bits of business that Studio 2 have. And yeah, across all industries, I can just recommend, do lots of networking.
Yeah. Louis?
Yeah, the same thing. I think is sort of have a basic idea of where you want to go with your business, and especially it's got to be something that you're interested in doing long term. I think, or you've got a real enjoyment for, or you will end up being just working for the sake of working. But again, doing something you enjoy also helps, with networking, like Ryan mentioned. When you go to them, you can really talk passionately about it, and if people can see that you're really passionate about what you're doing, they'll definitely buy into what you're doing.
Awesome.
And me and Ryan have definitely trying to push this idea of we didn't get much help really in terms of what we can do freelance and stuff like that. So it's we're really passionate about this because we've done all these pitfalls about what we should be charging and whatnot, and underpricing and whatnot, and how to work. But yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you both guys for joining me. It's been brilliant chatting to you. If anybody watches this video and you want to contact Studio 2, at the bottom of the video, all their contact details are running across. Both Louis and Ryan, it's been brilliant chatting with you. If you've got any last words of wisdom, Ryan?
Oh God, put me on the spot. Just be kind. Please, you never know what people are going through in each day, whether it's just your general personal life or if it's your work life. Be kind to people, and people will be kind to you.
Awesome. Louise, any last words of wisdom?
Same as what Ryan says, just be kind to people in different businesses and things like that. Don't be too much judgmental. I always like the idea of, I think it was a Ted Lasso program of be curious, not judgmental. It's that idea of just constantly be oh yeah, that's quite nice. What about this? What about this? And just constantly work to make connections with people, even if it doesn't lead directly to business. It might be doing down the line, or they might come to you with something, or collaborate on something. It could be something like that. So just keep networking and connecting with people.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And we're gonna go offline, but Ron and Louis, don't disappear once we go offline. Just have a quick word. But thank you very much. If anybody's listening to this, contact these guys. Obviously, what they're doing up north is brilliant with reaching out to the colleges. But all their contact details are there. They're on LinkedIn as well if you want to find them. So thank you very much for listening.